I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, but he has his new comedy club
Yep.
in
Yeah, it's in downtown. It's like on 6th Street in Austin.
have you been?
Yeah,
Have you
it's like on
been?
the main street. We saw a comedian who works on The Daily Show. He played for our head coach, Bruce, at Illinois, and actually was an assistant coach of his when Bruce was at Michigan.
Nick Beaty, interview number 2. Our first one was back in 2022 in March, way back when, and he was our first interview guest. So a lot has changed on our side of things. A whole new name. It was called Tennis with Ike back then, and a year into the channel, we changed it to Backyard Tennis, just to encompass more of the entirety of the sport. But excited to reconnect with Nick. He's down at the University of Texas, the Longhorns down there. He's an assistant coach down there. So excited to see what he's been up to and yeah, what he's doing down there. Yo, what up, Nick? How you doing?
What's up?
Well, welcome back to the channel. It's been 3 years since we had you last, back in March of 2022. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah,
Let's
is
go.
that right? It's been that long?
It's been that long, and you were at University of Michigan as a grad student when we did that. And
wow.
Yeah, a lot. I feel like a lot has changed. You got some different colors now.
Different colors for sure. Has a lot changed for you? What's been going on?
Yeah, I would say, for the channel. I mean, back when we did the first interview, the channel was Tennis with Ike, so we rebranded to Backyard Tennis. Which I think the rebrand was for the best. I think it's more encompassing of the game, and I don't know. I don't know if I like the personalized brands. There's just so many of them where it's like tennis with this person, tennis with that person. So I just like saw so many of that name. So I was like, okay, I think that like just creating something a little bit more holistic. But yeah, and I started doing match play videos for the channel as well.
Seen those,
which is pretty fun. Do some little shorts. It's a perfect system because you get to record the match, so you get to put out like a 20 to 30 minute video, cut out all the BS, so it's immediate value to the player. Like they can go and watch their match and have no downtime. It's just all points.
Right.
And then for that longer match, I can just cut it up into shorts, which is super easy. I use Swing Vision. Have you ever heard of Swing Vision before?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you guys use that at all?
We don't use Swing Vision, but we use this isn't exactly what you're talking about, but when we do film stuff for our guys where they're able to look back at their matches, and we have a great software with tennis analytics. I think it's called Versus Tennis now, but it cuts out all the dead air, all the dead time, just the points, and then there's a whole bunch of tags and stuff. Like if you want to see all the times you missed a cross court or every time you missed a backhand pass or something, you can flag all the points that you want to see where you missed a backhand pass, and you can just see those 5 points or something like that. So that technology is great, but in the content creator space, I'm not as familiar with, but I still like all your guys' stuff. Yeah, no, and yeah, I kind of want to dig in a little bit more because that was one of my questions, and I mean, might as well just rip it right now. Let's do it
with the tennis analytics question. What did you say that was? It was called Tennis Analytics.
Well, it's Tennis Analytics. God, I hope I'm getting the name right. But I think they also went through a rebrand, and it's like Versus Tennis too.
Sure.
But I know it as Tennis Analytics, and we basically just upload all of our matches that we want, and then to that software, and they put it through their process, and they cut out all the dead time. We're able to see like an unbelievable amount of stats and analysis that the software is able to just do automatically. And Yeah, go
Does your
ahead.
team, sorry, does your team use it a lot? Like, do they have access to go in and like see their matches?
Well, everyone's got access to it, and that's kind of on me or whoever is kind of in charge of uploading the stuff to make sure everything's uploaded and they have access to everything. So yeah, I mean, especially in the dual match season, but definitely in the fall too. Like we upload all of the matches, doubles, singles, everything on there. The guys are able to watch it. If there's a particular thing, what's helpful in the past with us, like the past few years, is if we're noticing something in match, and we want to go back and make sure that we're right about it, or that what we're seeing is actually on the film there. We can go and make a playlist or something, and we can say, hey, like we're seeing, when you're approaching to this side of the court, you're not covering this area of the court and you're getting burned in this way. And we're
Mhm.
able to find like all the points where that's been happening in their matches over a bunch of different matches, and show that to the player, and have them, because it's different. It's different when you're out there playing, and there's a different feel there. And then obviously a different feel when you're on the side watching, and then having everybody having eyes on it from bird's eye view watching film. I feel like you can really make a good argument or a good case for why you need to work on something specifically. You know what I mean? So
100%.
it's a huge help. I mean, that's
Yeah. I was
essential.
I was playing out in Bismarck, North Dakota, and you actually played out in Bismarck. We
Yes.
actually touched on that in our last video where you and
Yeah.
Gavin had an absolute battle out there in
Yes.
Bismarck Open one year. But
Yeah.
for the Jackie Doctor, which is another tournament out there, it's a memorial tournament for uh, um, one of the high school players who passed away when she was 18. But this has been going
Yeah.
on for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So I like to go out to that one. It's pretty good level for it being a non-money tournament just because it's the memorial tournament for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one of my buddies is the tournament director. I started recording matches, probably 2 years ago. So the first tournament I recorded was for that tournament. In the finals, I played a guy named Paul Kristen, and it was a close match, but I watched it back and I was like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I do this? And it was specifically, why didn't I just slow down the pace of go for less and just hit it to his backhand? Because like I noticed on the film that he was like trying to like short hop it and he would mistime it quite a bit. So then fast forward one more year, I play him again in the final. And I mean, that one singular piece of like knowledge completely changed the match. I didn't feel like I had like any shot of, I shouldn't say shouldn't have any shot of losing, but like I felt more confident with my
Yeah.
preparation, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally. That's well put. Yeah, it's amazing what you're blind to in the moment, and what you pick up when you change that perspective. It's also good, like for these guys, like it's so hard to. It was hard for me as a player to be like open to in the moment feedback when your like heart rate's like 180 and you're super stressed out trying to play and things aren't going your way. Like when you have somebody on the court with you that's watching everything, like it's important for like young players who are like just like going to college or going to play in team tennis environments where you have coaches on court with you. Like it's so important to be like starving for information from them. You know what I mean? Because there's just, and vice versa as well. Like there's a lot that coaches miss that when you're not in the moment playing and stuff. But yeah, for players in these matches, when you have coaches on the court, like you got to be open to that resource in a big way, because there's just stuff you don't notice, you don't see right away in the heat of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And also too, I think the game evolves and resources evolve as well. And
Yes.
if you don't utilize those resources, someone else will. And
Yep.
you are going to have,
Totally.
if you don't do that, you're going to fall behind. I think it's like very similar to like diet and exercise,
Yeah.
where if you look at like maybe the 80s, 90s, early 2000s players,
Yeah.
those type of players probably didn't eat as well.
Yeah.
And it just catches up where you have to. And now they all eat perfect. They all have their own chefs and stuff
Yeah.
because they realize like that's that's what it takes.
Yeah.
So technology is one of your roles you mentioned, or kind of that film study, I should say.
Yeah.
What are your other big roles as an assistant down at Texas?
For me personally,
Yeah.
well, I'm pretty lucky that I get to hit with the guys a lot, which is a lot of fun. It's good. I mean, it's been fun, like staying in shape that way, but less selfishly. It's also a good. It's a good reminder. It's a really good reminder to keep playing of the actual feel of playing. That's the part that I think is really valuable for me in terms of coaching. Just that you lose when you're on the side watching, you lose some perspective when you aren't on court actually hitting with the guys, and sometimes also competing in practice. It's such a huge reminder of what that's like, and it gives you a little bit of space to know that it's extremely challenging environment to be competitive, to be competing at this level, and to be like, to exercise some patience with your guys, and and I think it gives you a good sense of when to push guys and when to hold off, when you're a little bit more used to playing and competing in these practices with them. So I've been lucky that I've been getting that perspective a good amount. And then also just, it's good, like, if ever the team is down on numbers, I'm able to just hop in, and I'm fortunate right now that I'm healthy and feel good that I can at least be a somewhat decent level for them, not perfect anymore for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If that was ever even a thing, but I'm able to fit in, long story short.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like, just on court coaching in the practices, I'm trying to be more assertive as a third coach now that this is year 3 in the program for me. It was tough coming in. We had an older group who I had actually competed against when I was playing at Michigan, and they had been in the program for 5-6 years, all of them, and I was coming in as a new guy. You know what I mean? And so it was harder for me, trying to balance, having these guys lead themselves and just learn and observe and take all that in and have them, have it be their thing. And I didn't want to get in the way of that, with my own ideas of how things should be done. Of course, as a young guy coming in, that's not my role.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think, now I'm kind of used to, for sure, like more used to our head coach Bruce's style, and what's kind of expected and what the standard is. And I feel like I've tried to take it upon myself more to be more assertive with my coaching and trying to keep the standards high. And if I feel something, I got to trust my gut on it. Now I've been gaining a lot of experience with a lot of that stuff. And usually your gut is onto something, and just having the confidence to rip it and be direct and honest, but and always, respectful to guys, to try to help them, because that's what we're trying to do, is help them play at a better level and achieve what they want to achieve. All these guys have big goals, as you can imagine, at University of Texas. Most of these guys want to play professionally. So it's when they're healthy and they're out here, I think we owe it to them to be really direct and honest with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then also, of course, with the matches and stuff, I'll take guys out to fall tournaments. I've been doing that the past few weeks. I'll be on court with them, just in match, trying to help them any way I can. A lot of it's managing emotions. A lot of it is if they need a kick of energy, or they need a kick of intensity or something, you can kind of provide that, which I like to do. I like to do that because I was pretty fired up as a player. So that's always pretty easy for me. but also a part of it is sometimes you come out and you're too freaked out. That was also an issue for me when I was playing. So you got to be able to regulate these guys' emotions and tell them like, hey, you got to step back a little bit. You got to calm it down. You got to slow like you talked about, you got to slow the tempo down a little bit at the in between points, in point. If there's tactical stuff that you can explain clearly and concisely without overloading of information, that's always really helpful too. But you also don't want to go overboard with the analytical stuff with certain guys because, they're trying to handle a lot of nerves and pressure and high intensity play and competition. And you don't want them to short circuit either. That can happen where they don't even know what the hell you're talking about. So, there's a lot that you try to juggle as a on-court coach. That's super fun. So I'm trying to think of anything. And then recruiting too. Yeah. So like recruiting is a huge part of it's just one of the biggest parts of it. So I've been lucky lately. I just did a recruiting trip in Houston. That was a great experience. And I do a lot of stuff where I'm sending a lot of messages out to prospective players and trying to gauge any interest in college tennis, see if they want to take a visit, see if they're, these are very good, a lot of times professional players who are young guys who have eligibility, and I guess you want to find out if they have eligibility first and if they're interested and try to, you're kind of going fishing and seeing if you can get any bites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of that over the past few years. I've sent hundreds and hundreds of messages out to players, and we've gotten lucky on some too, and that's just how it goes. You just your batting average is pretty low, but you just work hard at it. And we've gotten so lucky. I mean, we've gotten great, really high quality character people, just reaching out blindly on Instagram, messaging them, So we've gotten lucky with the type of quality of person and player that we've been able to pick up with some of that. So yeah, I mean that's recruiting, hitting it with the guys, some on-court coaching and practice and matches, breaking it all down with the rest of the coaching staff. That's always fun too. Learning, picking their brain. I'm a young guy. I got a lot to learn. So trying to pick their brain whenever I can and really pay attention to them and how they work on court and off court. So that's been my life. That's been my life the last 2-3 years.
Yeah. I love it. And I feel like being an assistant coach in the tennis world is, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but like it's a stepping stone in a way where you're probably not making, enough money where that can be like a career thing. And maybe you can, I don't know 100%, but normally you don't see assistants in their role unless they're kind of like retired for a super long time. So it's interesting to kind of hear your role. We've chatted with Sebastian Weil before and Petro Alex a little bit, who those guys have all are kind of in similar shoes as you, just in different programs, being assistants and stuff like that. But I kind of want to dive into your Houston trip. So just to go a little bit deeper into like what a recruiting trip for you is like. So are you going with a different coach to Houston, or is that just you solo?
It was me solo, and full disclosure, this was like one of my first trips.
Sure.
If not truly my first like solo recruiting trip. Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to like really. This is not an expert.
Yeah,
you're talking
which is
so.
Which is fine. So
no, it was but we go. It's a big junior tournament. There's high level American guys who are anywhere from freshmen to seniors in high school. These are some of the best. These are the best. Some of them are the best American players in the world, or in terms of like, they're top 100, top 50 in the world junior players. So I think a big part of it is you want to go and you've probably been in communication with these guys ever since they were able to be contacted. So you already have a little bit of a relationship either with your program does or you do personally. And so I think a big part of it is you want to go and make sure that they know that you're interested and you're invested in their match, and you really want to take a good look at them and see where they're at in their game, and if you want to like keep pursuing these like this batch of players, or if there's anybody new that you notice and want to pick up on. And a big part of it for me, I can be pretty chatty, and so you're chatting a lot with other coaches and junior coaches, and if and when allowed, with the players themselves or with parents, and looking for opportunities to try to get into good contact with potential players and stuff. So yeah, you're staying at a hotel in Houston and driving to the courts and spending the day there and paying attention to everything and trying to really watch these kids and see where they can get better, and let them know you're there, that you're seriously trying to get them to your program to try to help them become professional tennis players, and get a good education at the same time.
Right. So yeah, like last names and stuff like that, because I guess maybe you're not saying someone's last name when you're meeting someone. But even like first names, sometimes people have some weird first names. Are you like studying pronunciations and stuff like that of like the guys who you're going to go and watch?
Well, these are American guys. I guess so. Yeah. You want to make sure that you know their name and how to say it before you like talk to them on the phone and stuff.
Right.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little ambiguous. Your brains. We're downstairs in the office brainstorming what this guy's name is, how you pronounce this guy's name. That's happened a couple of times too. Yeah. Especially when this is definitely a global pool that we choose from when we're recruiting at these schools. It's just the nature of your.
Sorry for cutting off.
Well, no, I was just gonna say it's the nature of it. I mean, if the pool of American players that could play at this level was much bigger, I'm sure there would be way more American representation. But it's just so competitive, and it's just like with the analytics. Like if you're not pulling from a global pool in a big way and really trying to find these guys who are borderline trying to play pro, but then they're like, I don't know, I'm going to give this college thing a shot, but are extremely good, talented players with a worldwide experience, traveling the world, playing tournaments. Those are like huge recruits that to get. You're missing out if you're not trying to get a couple of those guys. So yeah, I mean, that's just a big part of it. I think Texas, we pride ourselves on having we've had a lot of American guys that have done amazingly well since I've been here, and then obviously before as well. So we take that very seriously too, that we need to be doing a lot for American tennis and for American junior players, and trying to be a great stepping stone for their professional, for being excellent professional career guys, So
what percentage of your outgoing emails are to foreign players or American players?
Well, so the American guys, it's a small world. So like usually those guys we get in contact with pretty quick because they're on our radar kind of right from the start. And then we also have like Kalamazoo and Orange Bowl and these like big junior tournaments that are in the United States, and also connections to the National Training Center in Orlando, and a lot of the big time coaches in the United States. I just feel like it's so the world's so small and so well connected that all the really, really good American players are already on our radar, and we already have the means of reaching. Mm-hmm. What I end up doing is I'm reaching out to people like just blindly, basically blindly around the world on like Instagram, and just fishing for it, just saying, hey, like, we have a great opportunity for you here. College tennis has been a great breeding ground for some very good pro players from all around the world. And, we have a spot available, in January. So let me know if you're interested. And you're going to anybody around the world, that fits within a certain criteria of, world ranking or UTR or whatever, or, but that's still like kind of a shot in the dark, like that. Like I said, like that's a lot of guys, how it is. Like you get a message on Instagram from an unknown source. The chances you're really gonna like engage with it are pretty small. So you're just it's just a way that to try to stay competitive with everybody and see if you can get a few guys interested, in a semester and start the process with them of communicating with them and seeing if they're really serious about Texas. But yeah, but a lot of the serious like domestic recruiting happens like right from the start, right when that deadline hits of like, okay, it's open now, you can start communicating with them. We already got a big list of guys we're already interested in over the next 2-3 years that are looking to play college tennis.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're dying for those American guys. The American guys are great to have. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least when I think of NCAA tennis, or at least maybe before kind of you, SIBO, Petro kind of hit that college world, I don't really pay attention to college tennis and really haven't ever.
Yeah.
But so when I think of college tennis, I think of like USC,
Yep.
UCLA,
Yep.
TCU with kind
Yep.
of Cam Norrie.
Yep.
Who else? Who else do I think of? Michigan, obviously, because you were there. Ohio State, just because they were rivals with Michigan, and I knew you guys kind of went back and forth. But I didn't really hear about like Texas too much. What is kind of is tennis like a popular thing at Texas? Is it easy to get people to come to Texas for tennis? Like, what's that like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think so. It's a big deal here. I mean, it's been a very, very successful program. I mean, we won the national. So this is when I was gone. This was not when I was a part of the program, but since our head coach Bruce has been in charge, they won the national championship in 2019. We've been to, I think, 3 Final Fours, one final outside of winning it in 2019. My first year, we made the final. Last year, we were in the Final Four. The year before I came, it was a Final Four team. And then the year before that, they made it to the Sweet 16 and lost to my team from Michigan. So I'll take some credit I'll take some credit. So even if they weren't doing great that year, at least I was personally.
Yeah.
Made it to the quarters. So no, I mean, it's been a super, super solid program. I think the school's very good. The climate for tennis, it's good weather all year for tennis.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most successful athletic department in the country. I can't remember the exact stats, but if you compile the results of every team in the school and compare those to all the other schools in the country, I think Texas has been number one at least twice in the past 3 years or something like that. I can't remember how many in the last 5 years, but that's a lot. There's a tremendous support for the athletes here and the teams here, from administration, from a donor base. It's just Texas. It's a huge sports school. Sports school. It's like Michigan. It's like Michigan in that way. Just a massive sports culture and tradition. For big matches, Bruce works his ass off, our head coach, to get fans here. And the guys do as well. I think the guys get some credit for that as well. But I mean, we've had over 1,000 people at our matches.
Okay, wow.
At least 3 times since I've been here for the big matches.
That's awesome.
And for decently big matches that we don't even hammer, like really trying to get people out, we still get hundreds of people to our matches. And this is right behind me is the upstairs of our facility here.
That's awesome.
Go up those stairs to the stands, and you got the courts down here on either side. And it's not uncommon for those stands to be pretty packed. So it's a great environment to play matches in. You get good crowd and a super hungry fan base who's very loyal and come out and support. So I think there's a lot going for us. And then also, with it's a big program with a lot of support. As I said, Bruce works really hard with fundraising, all that stuff. So we have a good sized NIL effort to give to these guys, based on what they're able to do with their name, image, and likeness and all that stuff. And I'm going to be careful because I don't want to get into too specifics and say something that's wrong. But yeah, I think because the rules are constantly changing. It's been a total mess. I don't know if you're up to speed on any of that stuff, but we've worked super hard in trying to get support from donors and from like businesses and stuff like that, and give these guys opportunities to try to make some money off their name, image, and likeness. So, I think Texas is a good place that you're able to check a ton of different boxes. It's got a lot of money for resources for sports science stuff. We're able to buy the software like Tennis Analytics. We're able to get catapult testing done on these guys where they have a little device in their hip and it's able to measure their workload and how much they're moving on court, and you can kind of measure, okay, this guy needs to ramp it up, this guy needs to take a step back from tennis, he's really cooking right now and needs to take it easy. So there's just so much. And the student athlete cafeteria, these guys get meals every day as a part of their experience. That's really high quality food and healthy and can fuel them. So there's a lot going for University of Texas. It's just a blue blood of sports, just like Michigan, like Ohio State, like Alabama and US. It's like all these schools. It's in that realm of competing. It's yeah.
I've never used this word before, but it's the upper echelon of
the upper echelon. Yeah,
I've never used that word before. I just heard it.
I know.
But I mean, you do bring up a good point, and I apologize for not knowing my tennis Texas history. But Kevin Durant went to Texas. He might have won a national title when he was there. I remember Colt McCoy was a football player down there, a quarterback. He was really good, and they were, maybe it was like early 2000s. They were competing for national championships.
Don't forget about golf too. You got Jordan Spieth, you got Scotty Scheffler. Were Longhorns and had great careers here, and then obviously are major champions. Those are two huge names in Texas athletics.
Yeah, and my favorite Jordan Spieth story is I think he wrote a personal note. When he was, in college, where someone sponsored him or something, or it was like maybe Callaway. I don't know what exactly it was, but he had a handwritten note. Thank you so much for, coming out, or, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And someone kept that. And of course he went on to, win a couple majors. And of course, then the thank you note comes out and it's like, wow, this guy, super class act. But
classy. Yeah.
What city is University of Texas? Is it Austin?
It's in Austin. Yeah.
Okay. Have you been to? I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I'm always tuning into probably every third episode of his just because they're so long. But I'm an MMA guy, so I like to listen to his MMA talk.
Sure. Yeah.
And then if he has like a top notch guest like a Mark Zuckerberg or someone's kind of interesting,
sure,
like that, I'll tune in, or like an Elon, I'll tune in. But he has his new comedy club in
it's in downtown. It's like on 6th Street in Austin.
Have you been?
So I went. We saw a comedian who works on the Daily Show and is one of the hosts of the Daily Show now. They kind of have a revolving host situation going on with Jon Stewart, sort of taking a little bit smaller of a role. But he played for our head coach Bruce at Illinois, and actually was an assistant coach of his when Bruce was at Michigan. So, and then he quit to become a comedian full time. So we saw him at the mothership. This was months. I can't remember when this was now. This was maybe last spring. But we saw him. He came and visited and hit with us, and he was the coolest guy. And we got to see him at the mothership. I haven't seen any of the main acts outside of that though.
Yeah, that guy you're referencing, and I might need to just on our call right now. If you don't know his name, but I listened to that guy. He has like a very, I don't know how to describe his voice, like kind of like a confident voice, but like it's like I don't know how to describe it, but
right.
But he went on the Joe Rogan podcast. I remember listening to that one. And because I'm like, whenever anyone talks tennis, dude, you got my interest. If you talk anything tennis, I can talk to you. And he started
Yeah.
talking about tennis in the first 15 minutes of the episode. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Someone's talking
Yeah.
about tennis on Joe Rogan.
Oh, I
No
know.
way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and he was very funny. And yeah.
Michael Costa is his name, by the way.
Okay. Yep.
I didn't
Costa.
want to say it and say it wrong, but it's Michael
Yeah.
Costa, and he's hilarious. And he's hilarious about tennis. And was a good player and played in college for a very, very good Illinois team back in the early 2000s, and went on to, he played professionally for a little bit and hung up the sticks, and then was assistant coach with Bruce for a little bit, and then he's been trying to crush it in comedy. I think he lives in New York, I think he lives in New York, and he's working on the Daily Show. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. That's awesome. But yeah, he's hilarious and knowledgeable about tennis. He's very sharp.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other big draw? Obviously, the mothership, Joe Rogan's Comedy Club, the great institution there, the athletic, donor base, the great facilities that you guys have there. What other, things are your selling points, or like kind of things that you bring up, like, oh, Austin has this, which is really cool?
Well, I think it's just it's a big city. It's bigger than I was expecting even. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of live music is a big deal here. In a very mainstream way, but also in a very low key ways. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is, on every level of music, there's a lot of opportunity here. There's huge venues, there's tiny venues, there's all different types. A lot of great local bands are here, and a lot of really great classic venues. There's a lot of great, like, old school Texas dance hall type places that are classic, that are super cool to go to and are very fun. So it's got that kind of like, it's got an interesting blend now culturally of, it's changed a lot in the last 20 years. It's gotten more modern. There's a bigger, base of people coming in that are like tech people and finance people, and that kind of corporate, more like city, white collar vibe is here now, and like big high rise apartments and all that stuff, which, Austin had a reputation for a long time before that of being like, keep Austin weird. Like, it was like very low key and kind of hippie, and sort of like, had it kind of its own charm, and wasn't really like infiltrated by a lot of those other forces that most other cities go through. So I think now it's kind of a marriage of the two. I think there's like a lot of that kind of corporate world here now, and big tech kind of world. But there's also still like a lot of very cool, interesting people and things going on, and a real desire to try to keep that sort of a part of the city's ethos. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like what we tell guys, like I said, like, very good weather all year round. It's hot. It's hot when we first get to school and hot at the end of the school year. But for a lot of our base of training and competing, it's very, very nice. And play outdoors the whole year, which is a huge advantage. Speaking from somebody who played indoors their whole life, it's a big advantage when you can battle those kind of conditions, and the heat and the wind and just all that stuff. The school is very fun. I think the school is very fun. Like I said, there's a huge sports culture, and the guys on the team are super tight and really take advantage of having a good time in what's a very fun city. It's a very outdoorsy community. People are very interested in fitness and stuff here. There's a lot of running and cycling, and like a big gym culture, I feel like is a part of the city now. There's some great parks, like they have these, like Barton Springs is an example of this. Like, there's natural pools that flow into the river that kind of cuts through the city, and it's amazing. There's like hundreds of people out swimming in these natural pools, and they keep the park like super clean and super nice. So that's just a little, and good food too. Barbecue, Tex-Mex. It's just like and a lot of high quality food and stuff. So especially around the tennis center where I live. I live probably 5 minutes away. There's like great food and bars and stuff, so it's very fun for me as well.
Mm.
Forget about the players. If it's
Yeah.
fun for me in my as I approach 30.
Yeah, and I just got 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
Or I guess one's kind of a story with a follow-up question, but
yeah,
this is kind of out of left field. It just I wrote it down. Honestly, I wrote this down in my notes on my notes app because I thought it was hilarious. I was dying of laughter in the moment when I was told this story, and I wanted to bring it up on the podcast. Not necessarily like I was like I didn't really plan it for this specific interview. I just wanted to bring it up for the viewer just to hear what the viewer thinks about this. But anyways, you get the fortune of this story. So my wife just got married this year, but she's a 6th grade math teacher.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she does and some of the other teachers do is they'll hold up their hand for the kids to, be quiet. And then, maybe in like a minute, all the kids will be quiet. So she told me a story that one of the teachers did that where they raised their hand and like the kids didn't like quiet down, and she raised her hand for 38 straight minutes.
Oh no.
Like if you're a teacher and you're holding your hand up for 38 straight minutes to like get the kids to like quiet down.
Yeah.
From my perspective, maybe that's a little bit too long. I want to hear your initial reaction to that.
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, what point are you making? Because they're not quieting down.
Right.
And they're probably too young to be like, oh my God, she had her hand up for 38 minutes. I don't know if there's like a respect factor from the kids that's going to be like, oh, she means business. I think I just didn't think that it worked.
Right.
That the hand up worked that well. And I don't know if they'll have the like, I don't even know, like the cognition or something to be like, oh wow, like that was too much. That was, we really gotta get serious here, fellas.
Right.
Like
and I agree. I think everyone has that reaction. It's like, okay, like after like 5 minutes, probably it's like, all right, like they're not listening. Cause the kids, they might be like, oh, we can just talk and like, we're just gonna get away with this. Like, I don't know, just like from the kicker was that they teach like whatever district or like whatever the governing body teaches to wait. Like no wait until the kids, like that's what they teach, is like wait until, like no matter how long. So like she, by the book, she was doing it right. Or at least from their whatever.
Well, these kids, they gotta, I feel like they gotta bring in like the principal and be like, hey, she had her hand up for 38 minutes.
Yeah.
We can't have this. This cannot stand.
Sorry, just a completely random question or a random story, but yeah, my last question for you, Nick, is do you have any shout outs that you would like to put out into the world? Anyone who you would like to give a little shout out to?
That's a good question. Well, I guess like keeping it related to the program. Well, I'll give a shout out to Sibo at Yale. I'm happy to see him grinding away. Like we had a couple conversations about what he was planning on doing after Alabama. So I'm pumped for him that like it came together and he was able to land at a great spot, because I mean, Ivy's no joke. That's like that's a big job to be the right hand man of a Yale. I mean, that's amazing. That's an American classic right there. And he's grinding New Haven. I hope he has some good pizza in New Haven. That's a pizza capital of the world right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope he's having some, and I hope to see him soon, because he's a great guy, and I'm happy for him that he's grinding away.
Yeah,
I'd say give a shout out to, any more shout outs I'd like to make. Probably who will end up watching this. Like, shout out to my girlfriend. Shout out to my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are 3 of the best. Those are three of the best right there.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
gotta give a shout out to them. Yeah, a lot of love for them, and they'll probably be, among the people who end up watching this thing. So
Yep. They got the
gotta give
fist
them a
bump
shout
going
out.
right now. They're like, "Yep, we got the shout out." So
Yeah, exactly. And shout out to the guys here at Texas. Shout out to the coaching staff as well. Bruce Burke, he does a great job. He's just dialed in and does everything with a lot of integrity, which I appreciate. And then Benjamin Becker, you might remember him as a professional player. He was top 40 in the world for a number of years, and is just a powerhouse coach and good guy to be around. And so we have a lot of fun. So shout out to them as well.
yeah, there we go. I appreciate the shout outs. I like the SIBO shout out. He's also I mean, he's been on a handful of times. But yeah, he's been a 2-time guest as well.
Yeah,
but
he's a great guy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick, for coming on and spending a little time with me talking tennis and learning about your role.
Of course.
And I'm excited to see kind of what you do in the future with your tennis. So thank you so much.
You as well with the whole backyard, with all of backyard tennis. I hope you keep growing this thing and have fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Cheers.
Yep.